Hello, guys. Welcome. We will be starting in a few. We will be starting in a few. Please let me know. Can you see me clearly? Can you see me? Let me know. Can you see me clearly before we start? Someone type in the comment section if you can see me clearly. Am I audible? Can you see me? Can you see me, guys? Welcome to this live recording. Yeah, welcome to this live recording. For those that are new to this channel, we always do farming content, and that is what we are still going to look at today. And I believe if you have not subscribed, you can consider subscribing as we learn together and as we grow together. And I believe that for those that have watched this channel for some time, you can testify that it has really impacted in your farming journey in a positive way. And that is the main reason why I always do this type of content, purposely for educational purposes and purpose so that we all can learn. There are those that are really interested in farming and they don't know where to begin, how to do they, what is the requirement, and among many other things. Others have also been, I've heard people say that farming is not that much profitable. Yeah. So that is why purposely I want us to do this video. Even before we look at the challenges, what can you do or what do you need to look at before you either decide if you want to do farming or it's not a field that you are interested in. So generally this channel is about farming for the lovers of farming, but also if you, what can I say, if you don't love farming, you can still stay and enjoy the content. Yeah, you can watch for enjoyment purposes. Thank you. I can see we are ready for people. So I think we will begin. We are already 9 minutes late and the time is money. So today's live, we want to look at challenges of farming. Yeah, that is what we will be looking at. But if you're an interested farmer and you want to venture into farming, before even we look at challenges, remember, for something to have a challenge, it must have a advantage. So don't look at the challenge without looking at the advantages of this farming. You have to take that in mind. You need to know, even if there are farming challenges, there is also some benefits in farming. But I think I'll do that in a different vlog maybe. I decided to do challenges of farming because I know most of the subscribers in my channel and those that will also watch this content are farmers, because this is a farming channel generally. And you have to you have you have that burning problem that you're facing as a farmer, and maybe you need to take the corrective measures, and you want to know, do other people still face the same challenges as I do? That is mainly why I decided to look at the challenges of farming, right? So let me first read this comment before I continue. Someone is saying, by the topic, I can tell you listened to my yesterday's suggestion. Yes, actually, I had decided to do a different type of a live today, but I decided to look into the request that you made yesterday, because I didn't want someone that is following me with so much trust be like, I had a suggestion, and I also had promised you that I'll be doing that live today. And remember, you have to keep your promises. Yeah, if you make a promise, please focus to keeping that promise. And that's why we are doing this live today. So I hope you'll watch the entire live so that you can maybe get on the you can now understand, or you can have a view of what you had suggested about. I think I've answered that comment. If you're here, and I believe by the time, I hope I'm audible. Those that are here, please comment if I'm audible. I want to know if I'm audible before we can continue. Let me know in the comment section if I'm audible. I believe now we are all set. So what are these challenges that these farmers are likely to face, or us as farmers, which are these challenges that we are likely to face? To begin with, we have the climate challenges. Recently, climate has really been changing. It has really shifted. I don't know even if it's to the better or to the worse, but I don't believe it's to the better. Climate is one thing that is affecting very many farmers, because most of the farmers really depend on the rains. Sorry for that. Most of the farmers depend on the rains, and when there is a shift in the rainy season, or when it rains, it means that these farmers will be greatly disadvantaged. It doesn't matter, even if you are a small scale farmer, if you're farming for family use, when there is no rains, it means your crops will dry, or you will have to water using a man-made feature, or using you will have to water your farm. One thing that I know, it takes a lot of money, it takes a lot of time for you to do the watering by yourself. But you see, once it rains, it saves you the cost of doing that watering. You will also need labor to conduct or to enable you do that the entire watering process. Imagine, you will need people. If you decide to do drip irrigation, you'll need people to install those pipes, depending on how you have planted your crops. Mostly those people that do drip irrigation usually plant in rows. Now you can imagine, you have to look for labor, you have to invest your time, you have to invest money. Purchasing those pipes are not that cheap, and doing the entire project, irrigation project, is an expensive, it's an expensive thing that a farmer will really have to put into a budget that they didn't expect. Okay, that's in you still looking at the climatic changes. Those problems, or by the time you planted a crop, you knew this crop requires a lot of water, or I need to water this crop on a daily basis so that I can get the, sorry for the background noise, so that I can get the expected yield that I require. And now you come and get that you planted a crop that required a lot of rain. Now you are experiencing some short rains. What happens? It means you will either have to irrigate your farm to prevent from the loss. If you cannot afford to irrigate your farm, it means you entirely get this loss. And remember, by the time you're getting this loss, it is something that you have invested your money in. It is something that you have done a lot of budgeting. When you, as a farmer, we always have that budget that we take into consideration. And when we are doing planning, you will plan entirely and budget accordingly to what you will be needing in that period that you will be doing that plant growth. And then all of a sudden, things like climate start affecting the crop in your farm. There are some crops that even entirely don't require that much sunlight. And by the time you're planting by the time you're planting this crop, you already know this, during this season we will not have a lot of sunlight. So this crop will do well. And in your expectation, after studying that climate, or depending on how things happen, you come to realize that that season is even worse. The sun is so much that you cannot even now decide, that you are just left thinking of, this crop will not grow because it is a non-sunny crop. And now when you, after you've planted it, it's now this sunny, the period is so sunny that you cannot even, that the period is so sunny that the crop cannot grow. Do you know, there is nothing you can do about that? You cannot change the climate. The only thing that you can do is do the corrective measures. Some things cannot even be corrected. Like, okay, for the lack of rains, you can water, you can do irrigation. Imagine when there is a lot of sunlight and the crop requires less sunlight. How do you prevent that? It's now, do you build a shade for your crops? It becomes the greatest challenge for you as a farmer. Those that are joining, welcome. So please, that is one challenge that a farmer will never talk about or they will not tell you about. But generally, climate is affecting a lot of farmers and people do not speak about it. So if you're deciding to join farming or if you are a farmer, you have to take care, you have to note that, and you have to know if it comes. I don't know how to solve that, but generally things will be better with time. And I hope for the scientists, those that do these climatic studies, please look into it and tell us, give us a projection of exactly what will happen. Like where I live in, you will get this prediction that today will rain, and it will, at the end of the day, it will not even rain. You see, that is another challenge. For you, you depended on that information, and I believe for it requires a lot of it really requires a lot of knowledge, or you require to know what takes place in that field by the time you also you get into you get, for example, if you say you will study your own climate, you require knowledge about the the you require knowledge in the you require knowledge that the people have that sorry you require knowledge that the people that who study this climate have, and as a farmer you might not be having that knowledge. Therefore you will really struggle. Those that do this environmental study or this climatic study, please give us the exact or what to expect in the future as the farmers. The next problem that a farmer can face is the pests and diseases. There are so many pests that are recently affecting the crops and various type of diseases. Some diseases are even new to the farmers. Let's put a pause and read these comments. Thank you, Sylvia, for joining. You're saying thank you. I also hope I'm helping you as a farmer. I need this for my project. Welcome, and watch till the end so that you will get some tips on the project that you will take. And as you do your project, Sylvia, please look, you can try to solve these problems for us so that we can have that better field, better farming field, or so that farming can be easy for us. Those that are also joining, you are welcome. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please consider subscribing. Back to the topic, pests and diseases. Each and every day, a farmer will notice a maybe a type of a pest that is affecting his or her crop, or a disease. Does a farmer know which type of a disease is this? Does a farmer know which type of a pest is this? I think it would be better if we can come maybe with an idea of creating an entire learning series project for those farmers that need to know, when I see this in this type of a crop, I know it's this and this type of a disease or a pest that is affecting my crop. And after I've known the problem, how do I solve this problem? Which are the best chemicals can I use? Do you know the chemicals that you choose to use will vary from the region that you are in. The person living in Kenya cannot use the same chemicals as the person living in South Africa. There are different types of chemicals, and there are different types of companies that will be processing those chemicals. Maybe someone in South Africa will have an effective chemical to deal with the pest or the disease, unlike the person in Kenya. So this is a challenge depending on it entirely affect the farmer depending on your geographical location and the knowledge that you have. But I thank God recently we have this IT, or we have shifted to the technology. You can log into these various apps that helps the farmer. Maybe take a picture of the crop that has been affected, and let those people study it and tell you what type of a crop it is. Again, will they be able to know in which region am I? And what if they suggest a pesticides a pesticide that is not available in your country? Generally, many farmers are really affected by pests and diseases, and it hits you the hardest. By the time you think of reversing the reversing what has already happened, you will have taken a lot of time. At what stage do you discover that your crops are affected by the pest or a type of a disease? Do you really get to do that timely discovery? Have you set aside the money that you will require to solve this problem immediately after you discover it? Let's be honest, we all have financial constraints. Even if we are farmers, we are looking forward to having those less costs as we planned, because you'll find you will have planted something. It will take you a lot, you will require a lot of finances for the after maintenance. And when you take this harvest to the market, you will find the the prices set in the market cannot bring back, or you will not get the profit that you expected to get at the end of the day. So for those careful farmers, you will notice these pests and diseases at an early stage. But imagine if you are a farmer, maybe you are the only one working in your farm, and you are doing large scale farming. By the time you realize that there is a certain pest affecting your crop, or there is a certain disease affecting your crop, time will have already lapsed, and it will be at a point that these crops have been affected. The damage is too much that you reversing is a bit expensive. That is one thing. Timely observation of the pests and diseases. After you have observed, do you have the finances to take care of the pest or the disease that you've noticed? After noticing it, will you take that corrective measure immediately? There are various things that you need to look at when looking at these pests and diseases. Some diseases will affect your crops and they are irreversible. You just have to do away with that planted season, clear your farm, and now begin planting again. Imagine when by the time you're clearing your farm because it has been affected by this pest or the diseases, you start again farming. By the time you start again farming, the next climate that is expected will not favor the crop that you had planted. Now you have to entirely shift again to another crop that will be favored by that climate. Challenges are there, and they are interdependent. One depends on the other, but we I it is my belief that everything will work well despite the challenges. A farmer will always get a profit. Thank you for those that are still here with us. You can consider subscribing. To the next part of the problem is soil erosion and degradation. So, but this is not that much of a serious problem because you can use the preventive mechanism of soil erosion. There are various of them. How do you do the tilling of your land? How do you plant your crops? If you're living in a hilly place, you cannot plant your crops in the same way as a person living in flatlands, because those are two different places where you're growing your plant or your crop. Those that are planting in hilly places, you know, contour farming, other various things, that other various mechanisms that you can take off. If the erosion, if you're facing a lot of erosion, plant also crops that prevent soil erosion. Like Napier grass is one of them. They really prevent soil erosion. And I don't know who told us that once you plant a crop that you will take to the market or you will sell in the market is when you will get the profit, the much profit. Do you know, a farmer planting this Napier grass, they will sell the Napier grass to another farmer who is keeping animals, e.g. the cows, and they will really get some good money. And you will have prevented soil erosion by planting that Napier grass. So you do not have to insist on planting crops like beans and you are in a place facing soil erosion. It is a common sense thing that you have to think about. No, I am in a place where I'm experiencing soil erosion, and this type of a crop will not do well in this type of a place. Therefore, I need to think of a crop that I will grow in this region that will bring me money and that will prevent this soil erosion. You can consider Napier grass among many other crops that you can grow in your farm to prevent soil erosion. Also, take the corrective measures available so that you can prevent the soil erosion. You can call experts, sorry, let them do the field check. Let them advise you accordingly as a farmer what you need to do about that location. If that is where you have purchased a land, I'll not tell you to sell the land and shift to another place. Each and every place has its own challenges. But if you have this idea and you know that the crop that you're planning to plant in that region will do well. But the greatest challenge of where you've gotten the land is that there is soil erosion. If you're in a steep place, consider planting things like tea leaves. They also prevent soil erosion, among many other, among many other crops that you can plant. And I'm very sure it will help you solve that problem of soil erosion. Remember, after you experience soil erosion, the next thing that will happen is soil degradation. Your soil level nutrients will go down. Your soil pH will change. Many things will be affected after this soil erosion has happened. Remember, once soil erosion happens, all the fertile soil is swept away, and you're left with this soil that is really infertile, and you're like, what do I grow? And imagine, after that soil has been swept away, those people that live in the lowlands get that fertile soil. So if you're a farmer and you're farming and you are in the lowlands, and people that are living in the hills are not taking the necessary corrective measures, and all their soil is swept to your place, you also take that as an advantage and cultivate a cultivate a crop that will favor you. Remember that fertile soil will help you save on the cost of purchasing fertilizer, among many other things. That is one thing. But if you're in a place that you found soil erosion, you want to correct the aspect of the problem of soil erosion and soil degradation, make sure you consult an expert. Let them tell you which are the corrective measures you can take concerning the soil erosion, and also know which type of fertilizer will I have to put in this land so that the nutrient levels of the land will rise. Thank you so much for those that are still here. You can consider subscribing, guys. To the next part is water scarcity. Imagine you are in a place where you get rains, for example, twice a year. There's You get rains between February to maybe March. Then you'll get the rains later, October to December maybe. It means most of the time you will not be having the rains. And now, if most of the time you'll not be having these rains, it means you have to water your crops, because you'll not watch the crops as they dry up because of there are no rains, or you cannot depend on the rains. If you're getting rains twice, in 2 seasons per year, it means you'll have to farm when there is rain, and you you don't have to go through all that strain. You can farm anytime, anywhere, and in whichever way that you want. But the greatest challenge, do you have water? What are the water levels in your homestead or in your farm? Please, if you are a farmer that is facing water scarcity, maybe you are even in a what do we call, in deserts, or in these places that do not receive even rains, and this farmer is forced to do livestock keeping, and it's not something that you want to do. You want to do farming yourself, but you're like, if I farm, I'm in a drought place, what will I get at the end of the day? And I don't have the rain. Yeah, I don't have the rains, the levels, or there is water scarcity, and now you're left like, it's okay, I am passionate about planting this type of crop, but the greatest challenge that I'm facing is the water scarcity. How will I be able to solve this issue of water scarcity? So, if you're facing water scarcity, you can consider doing boreholes if you are in a place that you can, if you are in a place that the water levels are not that far, you can maybe consider doing boreholes, and then you can pump the water to your farm and water the crops that you need to water. If you're also in a place that is experiencing water scarcity, you can improvise various methods of collecting the rainwater, preserve it to the time when there will be no water. Okay, there are various ways in which you can preserve this water. There are various ways in which you can harvest this water, and there are various people that have learned on how to help farmers collect and preserve this water. So do not feel much of ish when you are like, I'm in a place, I don't have the water. The rains also are a bit of a challenge. You can improvise on the various water collecting mechanisms, and you can also like dig boreholes, among many other things. You can even decide to get your water from the river. You just do some pipings, and the water will get to your farm easily without even having to struggle that much. To the next part, or to the next challenge that you are going to face as a farmer, we have the fertilizer and biocide costs. Do you know, like where I live in, you have to get a 50 kg bag of fertilizer is currently going for around 8,000 and something. You have to entirely depend on the subsidized government fertilizer. Is the fertilizer even enough? When will the fertilizer be given by the government? It definitely means the fertilizer will be given by the government when it's the most farmers' time for the planting process. That is when the government will supply the farmers with fertilizer. What if you do farming for the entire year? As a farmer, there is no any time that you do not have a crop in your farm. What happens? It means you will definitely have to buy this expensive fertilizer as you wait for the subsidized ones from the government. Fertilizers are becoming very expensive. Just imagine, and you'll not use one type of a fertilizer. For example, when top dressing, you'll use a different fertilizer compared to the one that you use during planting process. Those are two different types of fertilizer that you will buy, one as a package. When you'll be planting, you buy the required planting fertilizer. When you'll be top dressing or doing the aftercare, you still buy another different type of a fertilizer when you're doing that. Again, you realize maybe this this farm or these crops require some nitrogen rich fertilizer that you have not put in your crops. You will now have to go again buy another bag of fertilizer. I think, do we really have a bag of fertilizer that has all these nutrients that a farmer needs to their crops? I don't think so. So it really becomes expensive. Purchasing this fertilizer becomes a challenge. But do not worry, things become better as time goes by. You can consider using if you have accessibility to these animal wastes, it is a very good form of fertilizer. For example, from the cow dung, if you have some chicken, that's the waste that comes from these animals will act as fertilizer to your farm. It helps your soil increase the nutrient levels, and you will be able to get the yield that you require as a farmer. So you can also decide, though, since these fertilizers have become expensive, I think I have to come up with new ways of how I will increase the soil nutrients in my farm. For example, the kitchen waste, for example, the peelings that you the peelings that you get from the things that you will peel when you are cooking for your family, you can use those. Instead of throwing them in the dustbin, you can go and throw them in your farm, and after some time they will rot, or they will decompose and form this nice type of fertilizer that or manure that will increase your soil fertility. To the next challenge is the input cost. Input costs are the costs that you incur when you are doing the planting, or not generally the planting. For the entire time that you decide to plant your crops, after maintenance, even after the harvest, you still incur some costs. When planting, you might need labor for your planting. That is a cost. If you're doing large scale farming, you will maybe choose to use machines that you, as a farmer, you have not purchased. Those of farming machines are very expensive. Therefore, it means you will hire them for the planting process. If you're doing the manual labor, you'll have to pay the laborers for providing that service to you as a farmer. That is a cost. Apart from that, you will need the aftercare maintenance. You'll either use these laborers or these machines. Remember, you're still hiring. That is another great disadvantage to a farmer, the input cost. And that we have just looked at labor. Look at purchasing seeds. When you go to buy those seeds, they cost some amount of money that you'll also look at them and like, where? But when I plant this type of a crop, I will get this much profit. But the cost these seeds are being sold at, it's very expensive. If you're not planning to buy seeds, you will definitely either buy seedlings. If you'll not buy seedlings from a nursery, it means you'll have to make your own nursery so that you'll germinate those seedlings and transfer them to your farm. If you will be buying, if you will be buying the seedlings from a nursery, you will definitely have to pay some money. Remember, that nursery that is selling you the seeds is also there to make money. It's a money making agency. Therefore, you will have to pay. They will also take care of the cost that they used to buy those seeds, the the care that they took for those seeds to germinate. What did they put in those seeds for them to grow well? They will incorporate all those costs before they decide at what cost will they sell this seedling to a farmer. Therefore, looking at this cost is really an expensive factor. Imagine now you have grown your crops, they have grown. Now it's time to harvest. You need again to incur costs during the harvesting process. After you've incurred those costs during the harvesting process, you will still need to incur costs to transport those to transport the harvest to the market. Okay? So entirely you will come to realize before you make the profit, you will have incurred so much cost, and imagine the person in the market or where you will go to sell your crops after harvest will not put all that into consideration. At most of the time, they will look at the availability of the crop in the market. This is what I mean. For example, you planted onions, and many farmers have planted onions during that season. There is no way a kg of onions will be the same price when many farmers have taken their produce to the market and when there is scarcity of that onion. Therefore, it means you will have to also study, or you have to do a research and know when is this crop scarce in the market. Another challenge you will find is that when this crop or this product is scarce in the market, the climatic conditions do not favor you as a farmer to grow that type of a crop. You see, these are the same problems that are affecting you, and you like now, at least maybe I can consider planting this crop when the climates are favorable. Each and every other farmer is also thinking like you. They're like, no, I do not have to plant this crop when I will struggle with the climatic conditions. Let me wait for the favorable weather conditions, and I'll plant during that season. That is another challenge that you will face as a farmer. You're struggling with deciding when to plant. Is the climate favorable? What will be the demand in the market? Imagine, demand in the market will not consider or will not look at what cost or what have I in what are the costs that I have invested when planting this type of a crop. They will just look at what is the market demand. And market demand determines the price. Let no one lie to you. When the demand is high, the price will hike. When the demand is low, the prices will also be low. Therefore, when it comes to the increase cost of production. No one will even look at, can I sell, sorry, no one will look at, can I sell at this price because I incurred so much cost when I was doing the farming. And imagine, as a farmer, the only option that you are left with is to sell at that price in the market. Because where will you take the crops? The crops will, if you decide, no, this is not the price. For example, let's take an example. You had planted bananas, your bananas have matured. Now it's time to take them to the market. When you get to the market, you find the prices are extremely low, and you decide, I'm not going to sell at that price. Let me go back home with my bananas. After some time, those bananas will be spoiled. So you are like, I don't have to entirely incur the entire loss. Let me try and subsidize this loss and sell at the price level in the market. By the time you're deciding, I'm selling at this price level in the market, you will have already incurred a loss that no one is telling you about. And why are you incurring this loss? It's because the cost, this is because the input cost is very high. So that is another challenge that you will face as a farmer. Up to that point, is there any question? I want to proceed. I'll give you a couple of the challenges that a farmer will face. So we have looked at climate change. We have also looked at pests and diseases. We have looked at soil erosion and degradation. We have looked at water scarcity. We have looked at fertilizer and biocide costs. We have looked at the input cost, that the cost of purchasing the seeds and the seedlings, among many other types of costs. I hope those that are still here, we are learning. I hope you're grasping something that will help you as a farmer. Those that are watching for enjoyment purposes, I hope you can also relate with the problems. But farming is great. Despite the challenges, farming is good. No one, and the person that fails is the person that doesn't take that risk. If you decide to take the risk, you will definitely succeed. A failure is a person that never tries, and you're like, hi, with all those challenges, I don't even want to venture into farming. Imagine, if you do not risk trying, you will not also succeed in life. Those that succeed in life most are the risk takers. Therefore, even if there are those many challenges, despite those many challenges, be a risk taker. Be a risk taker. It will help you attain that financial stability that maybe you're looking forward to. And you can even plant a crop that will not be faced by any challenge. Imagine you plant a crop, no challenges, market price is very good. You'll make some good money. You'll get some good money. Therefore, do not be scared. Despite having looked at those challenges, do not be scared to start farming. Farming will help you. It will give you that understanding of what you need to know, and how will it help you financially. It will do you know that is even a form of self-employment. Hmm? You do not have to depend on someone to give you a job. No, you can venture into farming. You will have created a job opportunity for yourself. like people like us. Recently, I just posted my graduation video. And what am I doing right? I'm doing farming, and farming is, as a farmer, for me, it doesn't matter the challenges I face. The money I get at the end of the day keeps me going. And I was like, I never knew this. I think I can also create content so that those also didn't know before they decide on what they want to do, they can see those that are trying it, how are they doing it. And it's really doing well. I'll advise someone to venture in that field. No one is like, now you are telling us challenges, now you want us to venture into this field. What do you mean? Yeah, despite the challenges, there's some good money. Don't you ask yourselves, like, there are these many challenges that farmers always complain about, but why don't they quit farming? Despite those challenges, why don't they quit? Why don't they quit farming? Now that there are these challenges that people make as the see, why don't they quit? Farming has some good money. Let no one lie to you. Let no one lie to you that farming doesn't have money. There's some good money. That was a short break. We can now go back to the challenges that farmers are facing. I believe I'm still audible. Those that are watching, thank you so much for also watching to this far. Thank you for supporting. Now, as I'm seated here, I'm a content creator. Thank you for supporting this content creator. That was a short commercial break. Maybe we can now continue to the challenges that farmers face. If you are new or if you're seeing this channel for the first time, you can also consider subscribing. You do not have to be a farmer for you to subscribe. No, and you don't even have to practice farming for you to follow this channel. You can follow for enjoyment purposes. Yeah. To the next part of the challenges that farmers face, there are these discouragements. People will always discourage farmers. Maybe I'll take a pause on that point. Hello, Hadip, hello. Good morning to you. Welcome. Welcome so much to this channel. You're welcome. If you're new, if you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing. Hello and good morning. Those that are in places that it's at night, hope you're having a good night. How are you doing? I'm doing well. I also hope you're doing fine. Maybe for those that are here, you can subscribe to the channel too. Hard Deep, you can consider subscribing to that channel. She's a good support system. So let's continue to the challenges. Also, those that are here, maybe you have not commented, you can also subscribe, guys. Thank you so much for being here. So these discouragements that people are giving people each and every day, at telling farmers, no, that is not a type of a work, that's, you can't be doing such work. Work is work. Once you get that money, I've never seen someone with the money saying, this this money is from the bank. At the end of the day, the money you get from that your 8 to 5 shift is the same type of money that I'll get as a farmer. So let us not be giving these people mentality that farming is not something that you can do, or it's like it's a they have created this mentality that farming is for the poor or for the less advantaged or something. No, there are people in those farms, people that are doing farming, and they are not poor, or they did they also say farming is for people that didn't go to school. That is the greatest lie. I personally, I went to school and I ventured in farming because it's something I'm passionate about. It's something that I love. But looking at the society, they are like, this person went to school to just become a farmer. And what is wrong with farming? You know, this is a great challenge that is really affecting most people. Someone has ventured into farming, and this other person is coming now to kill their morale. Farming is like any other type of job that you wake up and go to. So let no one discourage you as a farmer. Let not these challenges discourage you also as a farmer. If you're facing all these challenges, please let them be a source of your encouragement. Can you know, even if today I'm facing this type of a challenge, tomorrow I'll be able to solve this challenge. I will keep on doing better. Each and every day is a great day for you as a farmer. Once you wake up, imagine, I believe even farming is the best thing to do. You wake up and see the progress. You literally can observe the progress. Once you go to that job, for example, if you're doing a 8 to 5 job, or if you are employed somewhere, I don't say it's a bad job, but that is a job that you will entirely have to be there. And your boss, there is no any time. Your boss will pay you enough money. And you can attest to that. You will go to that office job and you will be like, hi, I don't have enough money. I still have to find other options that will give me a source of income. And if you're in that situation, join farming. Farming is really doing well. I'll advise you. But for those that are also discouraging people that you need this white collar job for you to succeed in this life, no, farming is also giving people some good money. It's, imagine you have your own piece of land, you plant, you harvest, you make that profit, start another crop planting. You will forever have a flowing source of income. You can even choose to plant in sections. There are those that are keep discouraging people. You do not even have a piece of land. Where will you start farming? You can, nowadays people are doing the land hiring. Someone is willing to give that piece of land to you for you to farm for that, for the number of years that you want, and after the contract expires, you can either renew or move to another place. You don't have to buy a land for you to be a farmer. No, you can even do your some kitchen gardening. You're still a farmer. There are these also improvised mechanisms for those that do not have enough space. If you're facing challenges with the spacing, you can try those mechanisms that have been developed for you to grow your crops. But those that are these are the people that I hate the most. Those discouraging farmers. Do not be a source of our discouragement. Please make sure that when you meet with someone, please consider being a source of hope and a source of strength. You don't know the challenges that I'm facing. Do not add up to my challenges. Instead, be a comfort to those challenges that I am facing. So let not people start saying, oh, farming doesn't have money. It's a great challenge that has killed many farmers that had passion. If there is a person that ever told you that farming will not ever help you in your life, I'm here to tell you, farming will help you, and it will help you move to that milestone that you're desiring to move to. So let's take note on that. The next is the production cost fluctuations. These prices, hey, these prices are varying day in, day out. Today I bought 1 kg of maize, for example, at 200 shillings. Now, tomorrow I'll buy it at 300 shillings. When you will be budgeting, you will budget at considering that I'll purchase this kg at 200. Once you get to the market, you will realize prices changed overnight. And now the 1 bag of maize seeds that I was going to buy at 200 to plant to my farm, it's now going at 400 shillings. You see, it will have cost a fluctuate. The prices are fluctuating from the seeds prices to the chemical prices to the fertilizer prices to the each and every price is fluctuating. Imagine you want to transport, you have this idea in mind. You are like, now that I've harvested this crop, I will transport it to the market the day after tomorrow. And I will need to hire a lorry to transport these my crops to the market. And during the day after you have done that planning, and you are like, now a liter of petrol is going, for example, for about 600, let's say 600 per 1 liter. Therefore, you know, this lorry, it will approximately cost me 5,000 to transport my crops to the market. Once you get, as the day progresses, the fuel prices shift and they increase the price level to maybe 800 shillings per liter. There is no way that lorry will transport that crop from your farm to the market with the same prices that you had estimated that for you to transport that crop to the farm. So as a farmer, we need these other things. And when they keep on fluctuating from this price to this price to another price, it really affects, it negatively affects this farmer, because you will now have to increase those costs. As the cost fluctuates, you're also fluctuating with them. It's not something you had put into consideration when you are budgeting. But I'd also advise you, when it gets to the budgeting process, make sure that you add in some miscellaneous expenses that you might get, so that you do not have to entirely feel that pain of, I've gotten so much loss at the end of the day. You will also find that various markets have various price levels. A kg of onion here in Kenya might be going for 100 shillings, and a kg in my neighboring country, for example, Uganda, is going at 200 shillings. Where will you sell your onions? How are these government policies that have been put in place? Can we trade with the other countries freely? What are the entry rules of a farmer to other countries? You do not have to sell your crops to someone, to a local seller. You sell to a local person in your country, and this other person transport them to another country. You can also consider, since I'm doing large scale farming, I'll do this, I'll plant this, I'll grow this crop, and then I'll send it to another country. Do not be market limited. Let you not think like, I have to sell within the same geographical region that I'm living in. No, you can sell to other countries, but as the government in the country that you are in, what are the trading policies that you have to follow? If you want to transport your crop to another country, what are the other countries' policies that you also have to follow? You see, those are the challenges that we as farmers are facing. What if we start now, we shift our thinking and we are like, can we have this free trading? Whereby you can sell anywhere. But one thing I thank God for, nowadays people are doing e-commerce. You can consider starting a website as a farmer. Okay, here now we have another challenge of how willing are you as a farmer to shift from the traditional way of farming to the modernized way of farming, whereby we are having this technology implemented mechanism that we can use as farmers to sell our crops or to even cultivate or to farm our crop. Are you willing to do the shift? Are you willing to be an online seller? Or you are like, if I sell to these online things, the risk of me losing the money is very high. I know there are security risks that are facing these technology things that have developed. Sorry, but there are also preventive mechanisms that these IT people are putting in place so that we can trade in a safe space. Even the countries that we live in currently, they are really supporting. They are supporting they are supporting e-commerce. Therefore, you can consider shifting from the traditional way of selling your things and decide to do the e-commerce. At the end of the day, you'll also get the same money or even better money than the one you'll have gotten if you sell in the same market. You can also consider if you're doing your farming, for example, in this type of a geographical place, you can sell in another geographical place where prices are a bit favorable to your side, unlike selling to from where you're planting from. Sell to those people that are facing drought conditions and they cannot cultivate this type of a crop. Definitely, the selling price in such regions will be higher than the selling price of where you cultivated that crop. So consider doing that. Consider even checking various markets. Consider checking what do I need to do. But if you are a farmer that doesn't have the knowledge about the various geographical places or the various regions where you can sell your crops to, you will definitely end up being disadvantaged. And you will also incur some costs, extra costs. If you have to shift from one geographical place to another, you will incur some costs that was you maybe did not plan to incur during as you plan to do the movement or the transporting of your crop from one place to the other. So that is something else you will also have to consider. You don't just wake up one day and decide I'm transporting this plant somewhere to this and this place. No, you'll have to do your study. You'll have to do a research to find out what is the price level of this crop in this region, and plan effectively on how you will transport your crop to that region or to that market that is a bit favorable to you as a farmer. The next thing is the financial constraints. Let us be honest, there's someone who wants to start farming, but they are facing challenges with the cost, with the finances. As I've told you, farming is an investment and it requires a lot of money. For you to begin farming, you need some money. Most especially if you're planning to do large scale farming, you will need some money, you will need a lot of money to help you maybe get the piece of land, purchase the seeds, the aftercare that is required for the crops, the labor, the transporting, among many other things. Therefore, the financial constraints that you are likely to face are things like lack of access to insurance. Are insurance company willing to insure our crops? You as a farmer, are you willing to insure your crops? Have you ever thought about insurance? Are these companies that will insure our crops, will they effectively pay once there are damages? What are these rules that they have set? What will be compensated by the insurance companies and what will not be compensated by the insurance companies? You might find that you have insured your crops that you have planted, and this insurance company is stating that once your crops have been affected by climatic changes, we will not compensate you for that loss. And the climatic conditions change and your plant entirely the crops that you had planted are destroyed. You start this legal process of seeking for the compensation from this insurance company, and it's like we cannot compensate the loss because it states we do not compensate a loss that has occurred due to climatic changes or climatic conditions. It means you'll incur that loss as a farmer. How many insurance companies are there that will insure farmers? Who is willing to give a farmer this financial loan? Let me tell you, I don't know if it's where I live in. By the time a bank decides to give you a farming loan, you will have to attach other guarantors that are not farmers or someone that has a consistent paycheck, so that if something goes wrong with your farm that you will use to pay the loan, they can attach this loan to someone else, or they attach that loan to one of your property that you have apart from the farming sector. It's so difficult. They even don't like issuing such loans. So this is another constraint that we face. You don't have finances, you need these finances for you to start farming. And you, this is something you're like, if I do this, at the end of the day, I'll get some good money. But who is this person that is willing to give me this capital? You have an estimated capital of, this is the money that I require. Where do I get this money from? Who is willing to lend me this loan without so much set, without so much set rules that I have to follow? Who is willing to make this easier for farmers? Everyone, remember, remember everyone is there to make profit. Even the bank itself, by the time it's issuing you that loan, it's thinking about how will, what is the profit, what profit will I make from issuing this type of a loan? And you also, as a farmer, you are like, I just need money to start. I just need this capital. What if you went and you got that capital from that type of a bank? You came, you started your planting process very well, you prepared your land, you did everything. And you're expecting at the end of the day, after I have grown this type of crop, is this is what I will sell to the market. After I sell this to the market, the profit that I get will be mine. The extra money I will use to pay the loan. You have planted a type of a crop, and now it gets to a point, something happens, and the entire crop is affected, and now you do not even have anything to harvest. You have a loan, you do not have an insurance company, your crops have been affected, you cannot pay that loan, you will definitely find yourself stressed. And you will be stressed, and after being stressed, you still need to solve that problem. You still need to pay that loan. Therefore, financial constraints are so many. Those that are willing to solve our financial constraints as farmers are also charging us so much or too much for just giving us those finances. They will also charge us a lot of money. To the next type of challenges that a farmer is facing. Thank you for those that have stayed tuned till this part or till this moment. I know we have been here for quite some time, but it's for the benefit of all of us. Or maybe if you need to learn, or if you need to know what do I expect in this field, you will know how to maneuver before you even join this farming field. But as I told you, farming is great. Let no one discourage you. Hi, Sylvia. I can see you said hi, hi. So the next challenge that our farmer is facing is labor shortages. Can you get that manpower that you need in your farm? First, if you're doing large scale farming, hiring these machines is a bit expensive. You will hire that machine. You will also need to hire the person that will operate that machine. And now, as a farmer, you think and choose, let me go the traditional way. Let me look for manforce. Let me look for this labor from people. Let them provide this service so that I can pay them. You are doing a couple of acres. You will need very many people to work on your farm. Where do you get these people from? Like for me, where I live in, can someone maybe create a place where we can go and get this type of laborers that we need? Because at times, once you do your calculations, you choose to hire people to do this work, unlike hiring the machine. You come to discover the machine is way expensive than me paying people to do this work for me. Where do you get this labor from? Another thing, now, the type, okay, these are human beings. Remember, human beings will also not work as machines. Human beings also have their probability of errors when they are working in your farm. They might do this type of mistakes. Leaving that aside, where do I get this labor from as a farmer? Who is this willing to work in this farm and I will pay after they have worked in my farm? This is another challenge that people don't talk about. You end up, for example, you are like, I need to get 100 laborers in my farm. Once you start looking for them, you get only 50. It means if you got 50, they will do the work that was intended to be done for one day, they will do that work for 2 days. If they do that work for 2 days, the amount of money you were to pay them for providing that service for one day will be twice, because they will have provided that service for you today and they will have provided that service to you for 2 days. Now, looking, you say, now that this has costed me 2 days, let me go for the machine way, it will cost me one day. You find the machines are even expensive, even for that one day. Now you decide, let me go to the laborers. Let me now take the people themselves. Today they come to your farm, 50 people. You know now, if they are 50, I needed 100 to work in this farm for one day. Today I'll get 50, tomorrow 50, they'll work for 2 days. Today they come to your farm 50 farmers, 50 laborers. They work for the entire day. At the end of the day, you pay them. The next day they turn up 20. Of course, this 20 will not finish the work with the 2 days that you had planned for. You'll have to either look for other more 30 laborers or add the number of days that these laborers will work in your farm. Today they came in 20, they work as 20. Your work is not done. You get to the third day. Maybe even in that third day, no one will come. You see, that is a great challenge that a farmer is facing. No one is talking about it. You will definitely need labor if you're doing large scale farming. If you're doing small scale farming, you can decide that personally I want to be the person working on my farm. Even if you decide to work alone in your farm, there are those things that you will need assistance. You will definitely need to look for someone to help you. What if the day that you're looking for someone is the day that they are not available? Someone to help you is the day that they're not available. What do you do? It's a great challenge that people are not talking about. The next part is the marketing and transportation. Marketing and transportation. Do you know, as a farmer, you might be having this idea of a crop that is not grown in your region. And you know, if I grow this crop in this region, I'll get some good finances after selling. But you are like, this is a crop that even people in my region don't know about. What if I do marketing of this product, of this crop? If I market this crop, people will get knowledge. How will they be willing to even purchase this crop? You decide, let that go. You decide I'll go and sell my crop to another market. Will those people in that region provide you a favorable, conducive environment for you to sell your crops there? Is that region is that region peaceful? Is it a region you can consider taking your crops to? So you find marketing is a whole thing that a farmer has to do. But you can also do online marketing. You don't have to go through those constraints. You can do some online marketing where you come online and market your crop and let people purchase through you can do the e-purchase or the e-selling as a farmer. I think that will help you and it will save you the cost. Now, when it comes to transportation, if you decide to transport your crops from the farm to the market, be sure at most time there will be some crops that will be damaged in the process of transporting. And you know, when you will be selling, no one will buy a spoiled crop. Why would you buy a spoiled crop and you will not sell it to make any profits? So the spoiled ones definitely become a loss. Because imagine if you were transporting, for example, 100 bags of mangoes, and one bag of mangoes end up being spoiled during the transporting process. That is a loss that you will have to face as a farmer because no one will buy that bag. Maybe if you think of selling that bag to pass to a person that is doing animal keeping, that is willing to buy the mangoes for the animals to consume. And there is no way you're going to sell to that farmer that is keeping animals at the same price that you would have sold those mangoes in the market. The price will definitely have to decrease. And if the price is a bit lower, you have still incurred a loss. It's just that you didn't incur the entire loss, you incurred a portion of it because you sold at a lower price, unlike these other bags that you would sold at a higher price. So even transporting is another challenge. When you will be the challenges is that when you are harvesting, you end up losing, you end up getting some loss of the damaged crops. When transporting is another challenge you will also face. Some of the crops that maybe you're taking to the market will not get to the market and you'll not sell them. So that is another loss that you will incur, and that is another challenge that you face as a farmer. Next, it's the population growth and urbanization. Now, the population has grown so much rapidly to a point that people now have to look at, where do I settle instead of what do I plant in this farm. Imagine if people are selling their land to people to build their homes. You cannot, it's very difficult for you to have many acres of land in the current world. People have this limit. If you are you do in one place, it's so difficult to find a farmer, for example, with 10 acres. They are in different places. So people are settling. People also are coming up with this urbanization thing, and farmers are left with, where now do I plant? These people are bringing up tall structures everywhere. Another problem, after these places become towns, these industries, they will set up in those places. The gases that they are emitting, they'll definitely not favor you as a farmer. So you are like, how can I get to a place where there are no industries, where I will farm without facing these effects? And you know, these gases that these industries are um, are releasing to the air. If you release those gases, if they are untreated, they are the ones causing these issues of globalization. Those gases are affecting farmers in the farm. They are affecting those that are doing animal keeping. They are entirely affecting each and everyone living in that life cycle. These industries, okay, they are good. But I think for countries that have set a specific place where you set up industries is better than where I live. Everyone can put an industry where they want as long as the government has allowed you. And please let them take the measures to ensure that these industries observe all the set rules, and let them not harm us as the farmers or as the people that are living within these around these industries. So let it favor us as farmers, and also, to just be honest, you just we as the farmers, we have to know how we will, or how we will learn. We have to learn how to live around these environments, and accept that we will never get that big piece of land. So just use your small space and work on it effectively to give you the yield that you require. There are very, as I've told you, there are many ways in which you can improve the small space that you have to produce a lot. Limited spaces also can produce well if you take these mechanisms, the setup mechanisms of growing these crops to place in the small scale farming. People have come up with improvised methods of small scale farming, whereby they use a small space to produce more. To the last challenge that farmers are facing, now those that are watching, if you have a question, it's your time, you can ask it. Before I look at the last disadvantage, do we have questions? Are we learning? Is it helpful? Let me give you some few minutes to prepare your questions so that you can ask them. And for those that are joining, welcome. If you've not subscribed to this channel, you can consider subscribing it, either for learning purposes or for enjoyment purposes. What type of content would you like me to post? But now, since the number that is watching is a bit low, how now will we be able to solve this problem? maybe I'll look for other ways of knowing the type of content that you people would like to watch. What type of content would you like to watch? Those that are joining, welcome. Welcome to this live. Thank you for being here. You can consider subscribing and also watch the vlogs that I've created, the short videos. There are many things that I've done in this channel. There are vlogs, there are shorts, there are lives. Maybe you can take your time to watch any of those. I know they will help you in a way. Like, for example, in yesterday's live, we were looking at nature relieving stress. If you're having a problem or if you're facing a challenge in your current mental state, you can consider watching that live. It will really help you. Is where we just sat and looked at the environment, and I believe it helped us relieve what we were thinking of. I'm left with one challenge. I'm left with one challenge that I have to look at, but I also want you to prepare some questions for me. Not a if you have a question, it's welcome. If you have a comment, it's also welcome. I think that break was enough for you to prepare your questions. Yeah. So I'll look at the last and the final challenge is what I want to look at. So the last challenge is, do you believe in yourself? Do you believe in yourself as a farmer? Do you believe that you are a farmer that once you plant your crop, you will harvest? Are you a prayerful farmer? Do you trust in God to provide you with all the favorable conditions? Do you pray for your farm? Do you know, it seems funny, but I believe in prayers. God can help you overcome all those challenges that you're facing as a farmer, and it will be better with time. Maybe, for example, God can even decide to remove all those challenges completely from your farm, and it will help you. So let us trust in God. I believe He is the creator of the universe, as it said in the Bible, and He will help us keep on striving despite the challenges that we face as farmers. He will help us overcome those challenges, and He will help us do better. So that was the last thing that I want to look at the challenge on challenges. I know there are various many other challenges that I've not looked at. I know there are many. Maybe if you have one, you can type in the comment section so that I'll reply. I want us to be here to be done by in the next 20 minutes. I want us to be done in the next 20 minutes. If you have a challenge that you'd love me to look at, let me know. I want to look at those challenges. Maybe you can comment, let me know. Write on the comment section, let me know the challenges that you'd like me to look at. And if you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing. Let's grow together. I can see 2 questions. Thank you so much, Job, for always following. I think you're up from the questions that I can see. Maybe you want to begin farming. I'll be so happy to walk you through the farming journey. Maybe I can be looking at one question. I can see there are 2, so I'll look at one as we wait for others to type their questions if there are any. If there is no any question, we can call it a day. The first one asks is, what keeps you motivated as a farmer? To be honest, money. Who doesn't like money? So what happened? There's this one day that I planted some maize in my farm, and it is one of the viral videos, I think, in this channel. I planted maize in my farm, did some top dressing. I totally took all the I took all I took the care that is required, and at the end of the day, I got some good money. I don't know, God just favored me in a way. Climate became an issue, and all of a sudden there was no rain, and the maize were at a stage that most of them really dried up, so it didn't favor other farmers. Is it fortunately I had done some rainwater collection, so that's what I used to keep my farm irrigated. It costed me some money because I had to employ laborers. Mostly at times I'll be in the farm with my laborers. I'll always look for someone to help me doing the farming because I can't do it entirely on my own. So when I did the irrigation, I was like, since this water I have is not that much, I'll be irrigating the maize maybe once a week. I'll irrigate them once every week. And since the other farmers are not prepared themselves, their crops dried up, and there was maize scarcity in the market. So I sold my maize at a very good price, and God favored me. That is why I told you. Also, what do you have that connection with God? You also need God as a farmer. God favored me, and they did so well. The maize did so well, and after I sold the maize, I got a lot of money. So money motivates me. Once I know at the end of the day I'm expecting something good from something from in the farm, money motivates me all day. Money motivates me. Second, it's something that I love doing. Farming requires a lot of patience, and farming you need a lot of grace for you to be a farmer. Therefore, make sure by the time you're deciding to become a farmer, it's something that you want to do. It's something that you really want to do as a farmer. You have that passion of being a farmer. Passion drives me, and discouragements don't hit me. Make sure you're not discouraged. Let no one discourage you. They you start killing your passion the moment you allow people to discourage you. Let no one discourage you. If they tell you farming is for the less and you get, let them say. And don't listen to the sad side voices. The side voices are the ones that lead to all that mess. So don't listen to those side voices. Be yourself and farm what you want. Be an effective farmer. Love farming. Enjoy farming. Do you know even going to the farm is a stress reliever? Do you know that, guys? If you go and look at those, just find somewhere to sit. Look at your farm. That farm will be a stress reliever. Look at what you've planted. Just see how beautiful your crops are in the farm. That is a stress reliever. That keeps me motivated. Those that are joining, welcome. Welcome to this channel. You can maybe consider subscribing for greater contents that are yet to come. So, if you don't have a farm, go somewhere. Maybe go to someone that has a farm. Ask them, can you allow me sit here and look at your crops? Imagine it is a stress reliever. I don't know if you people know that. So for me, what keeps me motivated? If I go to the farm, it will help me relieve my stress. If I go to the farm, I will be going to add in some income to my account. Money. I saw a quote somewhere saying that the only thing that drives girls is money. Is it true? Is it girls or women? The only thing that drives women, the only thing that makes women happy is money. Anyways, if it's that money that makes us happy, for me, I enjoy farming because I know at the end of the day, I'll get some money. And I also love farming. It's passion. It's something I do out of passion. I love farming. The money, and it's a stress reliever. When I know something, imagine something that relieves your stress without even having to pay. Do you know how much these counselors cost? You people visit these hospitals. You know, for a session of guidance and counseling, you will pay some good money. Now, why do I have to pay that money? If once I go to the farm and watch my crops grow, I get that it acts as a source of stress reliever. It saves me a lot. So that is why I love farming. And I don't think I will ever quit farming anytime soon. I don't think. Despite the challenges that we have talked about throughout the entire life, I'm not looking forward to stopping farming anytime soon. Thank you for those that are watching. Subscribe, guys. I love you so much. For those that have kept me company throughout the live session, from the bottom of my heart, I love you. How is it done? I love you. To the next question, I think the others do not have any farming any farming question, maybe I'll look at this last question that I can see, and then we can call it a great life that we have engaged well. Can you help me walk this farming journey? Maybe you have started it. Maybe it's when you want to start, or you're already doing farming and you look for someone that will walk you throughout the journey. If you have not, I think you're a subscriber to my channel, you're in the right place. I will help you walk this journey. I will give you all the tips that you require. I will tell you what to observe for, how to solve problems that might come, what types of crops to grow, at what climatic conditions do those crops require to grow. This channel is mainly about the farm. If you're passionate about farming, I have no problem. I'll help you walk through this journey, and I'll help you understand what are the requirements. What do you need as a farmer? Imagine a farmer you don't need so much. That is a self-employment job for yourself. You walk to the farm when you want. You make the money that you have to share profit with no one. You can either do it as a part-time job or a full-time job. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So that is why I've told you, you can consider subscribing to this channel. I'll help you walk that journey. I'll make the journey easy for you, and I'll give you the advice. I'll give you the life lessons. What did I learn? What challenges have I faced as a farmer? What can you do to prevent these challenges from happening to you? And what are the control mechanisms that you can take? How do you interact with other farmers? Do you attend these conferences? If you hear there is a farming conference, please focus on purpose to attend. It will help you. It will help you know what are other farmers doing in their farm. Is it helpful? What can I upgrade in my farm? What have I been doing wrong in my farm that I can perfect or that I can do better? So it will really help. It will help you. Even that space when you go to those conferences, they will help you hear or reason out with other farmers. You'll talk to someone, they'll tell you, you will realize this is an entire family. It's a farming family. You'll realize there are many other, you are not the only person facing the challenges that you're facing. You realize there are many other people that are facing the similar challenges as I do. And that will keep you going, or that will give you the motivation. That will definitely give you the motivation to keep going. It is also a safe space for you to vent out and get those free advices. If there are shows, attend them, because now in such places is where you will find other farmers display the type of crops that they have grown, and you will learn. Maybe there are other crops that you don't know even about that will do so well in your farm. Those crops that will do so well in your farm, but you never knew that such type of a crop really existed. So look forward to attending such events. You will see other farmers display what they are growing in their farm, and you will also borrow ideas. Or you will borrow one or two ideas that you will take back to your farm. It will also give you that broader thinking, that you don't have to plant maize beans because they're the only plants that you know. No, there are other crops that you can grow, and they are doing so well in the market. So do not be discouraged, Job, as you look forward to this journey. I believe I'm here to help you. I want us to end this live, guys. Do you have any other question? I know. For those that have been here, I know you have learned a lot. You have learned a lot. If I've been impactful to your life, please consider subscribing. That's all I'm asking from you. Subscription is free. You can subscribe and watch a few of my contents and see if there's. I know once you get there, you will resist going back. So subscribe, guys. But generally, I love you so much. Thank you for keeping me company for the entire 2 hours, because that is 1 hour 54 minutes. That's a lot of time. Thank you even for the likes. I believe new people have subscribed. It's a lot of time for someone to be watched. 2 hours is a lot of time. So thank you for those that have been here. Even if you're coming in right now, I still appreciate. It's a lot. It means a lot to me. And you can consider subscribing also. Is there any other question or a suggestion? Maybe I'll give some 2 minutes. If you can type, let's type our questions. I'll only give some 2 minutes. If there will be none, if there will be no question, then we will end our live. So for those 2 minutes, type in your questions. You guys are enjoying looking at me. Then subscribe. I don't think there are any other questions. Hope you have learned something. Hope you have enjoyed the entire live session. We will be doing another one maybe tomorrow, not today. We'll not have any other live session, but content will be uploaded today. So you can turn on those notification bells so that you'll be notified each and every time I'll be posting. Subscribe to my channel, like, share, and let's keep growing together. I've enjoyed the entire live session personally. Thank you for thank you for keeping me company throughout the 2 hours. God bless you. Till we meet in the next one. Bye bye. I saw a comment that I was like, can I react to before I leave? Okay, we had already closed the live session, but after I close the live session, I give some time to see if there's someone who has something to say. But I've seen someone comment and they deleted. We ended our live session. Is it something? Okay, let me see. Hey there. I've been following up on this session and it has been so impactful positively. Great work. Oh, thank you. At least there's someone appreciating. Someone is appreciating my work. Thank you so much for watching. And thank you for being my support system. You see, such a comment is very important. If I left the live without Hearing such a comment, I would have, I would have lost, I would have not feel that nice as I feel. To see someone appreciate you, it's a great work. Saying, because I know saying thank you and sorry are two meaning, two great words. They are short words, but they are very difficult to say. So seeing someone appreciate and say thank you, that is great. So guys, we will meet in the next session. But till then, when we will be having our live session, you can consider subscribing and watching those contents that are uploaded in this channel. Till the next one, see you. Bye, guys. Oh, sorry, I've remembered something as I was ending this live. I'll be uploading this live in a few. So if you want to retrace back and maybe see something that you missed out when I was doing the challenges that farmers are facing, you can watch this live, you can rewatch this live in my channel, so that you can get the tip or the thing that you missed out, or if there's something that you wanted to understand clearly and I was a little bit faster, you can watch so that you can know what did I say or what can you do, or you'll also internalize and see if those are the type of problems that you're facing as a farmer. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you so much for keeping me company. I love you. Till we meet in the next one. Bye bye.